Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday's English lesson, where today we are going to be beginning to write our persuasive adverb. And the focus today is going to be on the powerful adjectives and those superlatives that we've been practicing earlier in the week. We're going to make sure that we include those within our writing. The aim for today is going to be that we write the first two sections. So we're going to talk about the different sections in just a moment. And by the end of today's lesson, you will have written the first two sections of your persuasive adverb. So then that leaves us with only two sections to be thinking about tomorrow. Okay, so let's have a look at this good example that we've looked at. You can see I've broken it up into the different sections. So you can see here the first section that we've got is kind of the bit that draws the reader in. So we've got our slogan at the top there, which I know we planned out yesterday. We've got a bit of a diagram to give a bit more information, and in the stars there, a couple of rhetorical questions. Okay, so that's kind of the first section that we're going to be thinking about. But if we focus mainly on the writing, which is going to take the most thought today, you can see I've broken it up into those four main paragraphs. So we can see that orange paragraph there, first of all, is the introduction. Okay, so you can see it's quite short and succinct and to the point, but the reason for the introduction is to hook the reader in. Okay, so we use some rhetorical questions there to do that, and we want to make them feel that they're the person for the job. Okay, you can see then that the next section that I've gone round in purple is going to be who we're looking for, okay, the person that is going to be applying for the job. And it's at this point that we explain a little bit about the job and explain why we need that person, okay. So the person that you've designed is the warrior that's going to be applying for the job. Okay, if we then look at the next section, we can see the blue section here tells us the qualities that that person needs to have. Okay, so 3 bullet points there that just explains exactly what sort of a person that person needs to be and the good things that they can do. And then that final section, as you can see there, is what that person is going to receive in return. Okay, and again, we thought about that yesterday, didn't we, in our plan? Okay, so as I've said, we're going to be thinking about these top two today. We're going to be thinking about writing a brief introduction to hook the reader in, and we're going to be explaining a little bit about that job and exactly why we need your warrior to apply. Okay, so I'm going to go back and look at my plan from yesterday. So I've just gone back to yesterday's plan, and hopefully you've got that plan there that you can refer to. And I can see my slogan is going to be the first thing that I need. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I've got that slogan, and I'm going to make sure that I include that in my plan, in my advert, sorry, for today. So I know that the first thing that needs to go in here, now I thought about my colours as well yesterday, didn't I? And I said that I wanted to use red and black. So I'm going to put in there wanted, and I'm going to put that in big capital letters, and in fact I want to make that quite bold, so I'm going to turn it into bold writing as well there. Okay, so I'm going to say wanted, and then I'm going to go back to my plan to remind me of my slogan: bravest, brawniest, boldest brute to beat the best. So I included that alliteration in there, didn't I? Okay, so bravest, boldest, brute. So I'm going to paste that and pop that in there. Okay, and again I want that to stand out, so I'm going to make that big and bold. Okay, so bravest, brawniest, boldest brute to beat the best. I know then that the next thing here is going to be my diagram and my rhetorical questions, which again, I've got those on my plan. I know what I need to do, and I'm going to come back to those at the end of the lesson. So I'm going to be leaving those empty for now because I want to move into my writing. Okay, so I want to think about those two paragraphs. And as you can see here, I've said that we're just going to be thinking about two today. We're going to be thinking about the introduction to hook the reader and what the job is and why we're looking for this person to apply. Now, as always, I've provided you with some sentence openers here that you can be using, and you'll find extra sentence openers in the Google Drive as well that you can use to help you. Okay, so let's have a go then. Let's have a go together at coming up with an ideal introduction. Now, I know from looking at the different examples that we've read, I know that a rhetorical question is going to be a good place to start. So I'm going to use the rhetorical questions from my plan from yesterday to help me. So, do you thrive on the thrill of battle. Now I know with a question comes a question mark. You'll notice my capital letter at the start of my question there as well, and my question mark to end the sentence. Do you thrive on the thrill of battle? Are you capable of beating the best? Now I'm going to link that into my slogan that I've come up with there. Okay, are you capable of beating the best? I'm going to make sure that that fits in my box. Let's move that over there. Okay, are you capable of beating the best? And I want to make this sound like the most appealing job. Okay, something that no other warrior has ever achieved before. Now I've purposely put that in because I really want to persuade, okay? By reading that, my reader's going to think, well, if no one else has done it, then I must be the person to achieve that, okay? Something that no other warrior has ever achieved before. I'm then going to use this sentence opener here. So this is like my read-on sentence, okay? So if they're able to do each of those things, this could be the ideal job for you. I'm going to put a comma in there, apply now. Okay, and I'm using that exclamation mark there to show that it's quite dramatic. Okay, and there's my introduction. So I've just thought about 2 rhetorical questions that I can include there, something that's going to persuade my reader, okay, and then that read-on sentence telling them what I want them to do, apply for this job. Okay, so I want you to pause me now, have a go at writing your introduction, use the sentence openers to help you, there's more on the Google Drive, and come back to me when you've done that. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you've got some cracking introductions written. I'm sure you have. We're now going to think about the second paragraph then. So I'm just going to leave a gap like I would do in any piece of writing. So I'm just going to leave a line and move into my next paragraph. And as I scroll down here, you can see that paragraph 2 is explaining a little bit about the job and the person that we're looking for. Okay, so I can use these sentence openers here to help me. And again, you've got more sentence openers in the Google Drive there to help you. Okay, so I'm going to start by using that sentence opener. We are seeking. Now I know seeking means looking for. Okay, so we are seeking the job that it is that they're looking for somebody to do. So we are seeking the. Now I want to use some of my superlatives that I've come up with earlier in the week. So I'm going to use mightiest, and I'm remembering my spelling rules as well from earlier in the week. I know mighty is my root word which ends in a Y, so I change my Y to an I before I add est there. We are seeking the mightiest, boldest. I'm going to think about my spelling rule there. It ends in 2 consonants, so I know I just add est. The mightiest, boldest, most courageous. Now courageousest didn't sound right, so I'm going to go with courageous. Okay, most courageous warrior to defeat. Now I want to describe Bjorn, so I'm going to look back at my plan to come up with some of those adjectives that I used earlier in the week. Honourable, powerhouse. Yes, I want to use some of those in my writing. So we are seeking the mightiest, boldest, most courageous warrior to defeat the honourable Bjorn. Now remember, Bjorn is his name, so that should have a capital B every time that we use that. To defeat the Honourable Bjorn, and what's the job? And send him to Valhalla. And remember, Valhalla is also the name of a place, so it has that capital V there. Okay, so my first sentence in this paragraph is using my superlatives, and I've just chosen 3 from my list. You'll notice because I've listed those superlatives, I've got my commas in between to list them, and I'm just saying what it is they have to do to defeat the Honourable Bjorn and send him to Valhalla. Okay, so now I want to include a little bit about what sort of a person we're looking for. Okay, I'm not going into the qualities of that person yet, but I just want to describe this job and make the person that's reading it feel like they are the best person for it. Okay, you could be the person, to fulfill there we go, his lifetime ambition. Now you'll remember I wanted to include some kind of exaggeration in there in order to make this sound like the best job ever. Okay, so it's his lifetime ambition. It's almost like we're helping Bjorn out, isn't it, by killing him. You could be the person to fulfill his lifetime ambition and send this powerhouse, there's that adjective that I wanted to get in from earlier, and send this powerhouse into the afterlife. Now I didn't want to say Valhalla again because I've said that already. Okay, so I've thought of a different way to explain that. Into the afterlife. I'm going to then use one of these sentence openers here. So you can see I've used the all he needs. By using the word all in a sentence, it makes this job sound really easy. And that's another powerful, persuasive feature that I can use that will make this person want to apply. If it's a really easy job, then of course I can do it. Okay, that's what anyone would think. So I'm going to use all you need to do. Okay. In order to persuade them, all you need to do is destroy Bjorn, capital letter for his name, destroy Bjorn to become the most, another superlative, the most powerful fighter. Now I've used warrior already, so I've come up with a different noun there. The most powerful fighter in history. Okay. And I'm happy. I've got my 2 paragraphs there that I think do the job brilliantly. I've got my introduction. I've explained a little bit about the job, including all of those features there from my plan. Okay, so use this to help you. Pause now. Have a go at writing your second paragraph for today. And welcome back. So what I'd like you to do now is have a read back through the 2 paragraphs that you've written. And I want you to really check that you've got those features that you need. So have a look at your first paragraph, your intro. Do you have those rhetorical questions in there? Do you have your question marks at the end of your questions to show that they are rhetorical questions? Have you done a read-on sentence in that intro to make them feel like they should apply now? Is there anything that you might need to edit in? Now have a look at your next paragraph. Have you used some superlatives to make this warrior sound like the best warrior that ever lived? Have you got commas in between those superlatives to show that you've listed them? Have you used capital letters for Bjorn's name and Valhalla? Make sure that you edit those if you haven't. Have you made this job sound like it's the best job ever? And have you made it sound like it's the easiest job to persuade the person to apply? Okay, so hopefully now that you've done that reflecting and you've done a little bit of editing, you're now ready to think about that top section. So I want you, for the final part of today's lesson, I want you to draw the design that you want to use. I know that I was planning to use 2 crossed over swords and a horned helmet, so I'm going to make sure that I include that in mine. And you've also got the 2 stars either side. If we just go back here, we've also got the 2 stars either side. Think about some different rhetorical questions that you haven't already used in your introduction that perhaps you can pop in there. Okay, so have a go at filling in the stars in this section for today, and I'll see you tomorrow where we're going to think about the next 2 sections. Bye for now.